The saltwater cure is one of the oldest, well, I'll say more classic cures in Feng Shui that's used in only certain schools of Feng Shui usually. But because of the chemical reactions that happen and what happens to the actual cure itself, I love doing it. Basically what happens is that this glass, which is about 3/4 full of salt, just regular salt, I'm using, there's some coarse like kosher salt in here. This glass will ultimately turn into a great big crystal, which I think is so spectacular. But at the same time, it's going to suck out of the air all of the negativity. That is the symbolic nature of it. And because this is meant to be kept out in the open rather than hidden away somewhere, it is a great reminder to keep the negative energy flowing out of your house, where it can create blocks, stagnation, blocks to abundance, all kinds of stuff that you don't want. So to make this, like I said, 3/4 of a cup full of salt. This is a glass pint jar, pint glass. You can actually use a mason jar if you'd like. I love those mason jars. You can also use a ceramic cup, mug. You just don't want to use anything metal. You want to use something that's either glass or ceramic. 3/4 of the way full with salt. You can get these brass, they have to be brass, I Ching coins I got them at a local Chinatown. You can get them online. They're very, very inexpensive. I do not believe that these are powerful. What's important is that they are brass. So I'm going to take 6 of these coins and I'm just lining them up. So I have 6 to put them in, and this is traditionally how it's done. You take the coins, you put them in a circle inside. I'm not sure why, but it's cool, it works well. Put them inside on top of the salt, inside the jar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These coins have 2 sides. One side has usually 1 or 2 characters, the other side has more characters. The side with more characters is traditionally supposed to be face up. I don't care what side you use. I don't pay attention to what side I use. So I wouldn't worry about that. It's the chemical reaction that we're after. And then take some water. Purified water is always a good thing. Take some water and you're gonna fill this up about 1 inch or 2 above, above the salt. It might mess up your coins a little bit, and that's just fine. So now we've got it all together, and I take this and I keep it on my magical magenta mat. Again, you want to use anything beneath it that you want. You can just put it out without anything beneath it if you'd like, but what's going to happen to this, as I mentioned earlier, is that it's going to turn into a giant crystal. The salt is going to react in some way with the metal and the water, and it's going to bloom and turn into a whole giant crystal, as it apparently, traditionally, sucks negative energy out of the house. But symbolically, every time we look at this, we will think it is taking the negative energy out of the house. It is thought to be a very, very powerful cure. For me, it's a very powerful visual, and I love seeing it grow. And what I love the most about this is that as the water starts to diminish and the crystal starts to grow, you're going to want to top it off. So you always keep the water level pretty high so that it's always functioning at its best. But what's so beautiful to me is that this is a wonderful way to create this gorgeous transformational art piece. You're transforming this whole thing as this cycle, this symbolic cycle of negative energy getting vacuumed out of the air and then transformed happens. So you're really taking something, it's a very beautiful visual of poison turning into medicine in my mind. It's a very cool symbolism. So I like to keep this out where I can see it, especially because I love when it blooms and turns into this giant crystal. And traditionally speaking, you're not supposed to move it once you place it. And you're also not supposed to touch it when it starts growing. You don't want to touch the negative energy, supposedly. People use gloves in order to remove it. You can do that if you want to. You certainly don't have to. But when this is all done and you've already filled it up and you feel like it's kind of run its course, you can take the whole thing. I clean it out. I clean all the pieces out. People say you shouldn't. I do, because I like to recycle everything. I don't reuse the coins, but I do recycle them. So, or I use them for something else that's completely unrelated. But the best thing ever that you could possibly do, no matter what you do, whether you do this salt cure or not, is to eliminate negative energy from your space. This is just a really beautiful, symbolic, and very ancient way to do it. I hope you enjoy it.
The Cash Camp is coming soon, so make sure you sign up for the free video series.